want to talk to you about the box truck business revenue growth, and I want to share with you a few hacks on how to grow your box truck business revenue this year. The thing is, when you are thinking about a box truck business, you have a very competitive field. From actually going to load boards to actually going to shippers to freight dispatchers to freight brokers, you have a lot of opportunities to actually grow your business. But you gotta have and implement the right growth hacks. So here are the growth hacks I want you to really pay attention to. First of all, when you think about your box truck business, you have to really establish your company. If you are trying to really make money in this business in the long run, you got to have a business. You can start actually being an owner operator at the beginning, right? It doesn't matter. You can be a sole proprietorship. That's fine. But if you're really trying to really scale, if you're trying to really get into those well-paying loads, if you're trying to really get those OTR opportunities, if you're trying to really get those line haul opportunities that really will help you drive more revenue, you have to incorporate, okay? And so incorporation is not really that complicated. It just means that you have to choose whether you want to be an LLC, you want to be an S corporation, you want to be a C corporation, you want to be an LLP. But the thing is, you want to just segregate your personal affairs from your business affairs. That's going to help you a lot, not just in terms of generating revenue. Why? Because basically, some companies, some shippers will not do business with you if you're not a business. They do not want to deal with sole proprietorships or individuals for that matter. So being a company, a legit company, is a serious box truck business revenue growth hack. This will help you in terms of scalability, and also it will help you also get business loans. It will help you get business lines of credit, and because the bank or credit union will check your business credit as opposed to your personal credit. The second thing you want to do if you want to grow your box truck revenue, your box truck business revenue, you want to create a website. With any box truck business plan, creating a website is kind of crucial. Again, I want to insist on the fact that you are in a very competitive field. You're not the only box truck business operating in town. And so a website as well as a social media presence will help you actually get closer to your shippers, to your potential clients real fast. So when you think about box truck business revenue growth hacks, I want you to really think about incorporating your trucking documents. This is important if you have if you have a cargo van, not a problem. If you have a box truck, not a problem. But the trucking documents will help you actually officialize your operation. So what you want to do is you want to file a BOC3 form. So if you operate as a trucking company, you must actually designate an FMCSA agent who resides in all states where you do business. And once designated, the agent is authorized to receive and forward court or legal documents on behalf of your company. Why is this a business revenue growth hack? It's just because, going back to what I said before, there are some contracts, there are some contractual agreements where shippers, where freight brokers, where dispatchers will not do business with you if you don't have a BOC form on file. Okay, so this is actually a regulatory requirement that actually formalizes your box truck business. So it is a powerful revenue growth hack to think about this year. You also want to apply for an MC number, so a motor carrier number. Okay, so typically you will need to provide basic documentation such as proof of identity, bank statements, and liability insurance information to the FMCSA in order to receive an MC number, and you need to actually have that. And as part of your motor carrier authority application, you have to pay an application fee of $300. And you're paying this to the government, by the way, though. So this is kind of important to think about it that way. And so don't let anybody tell you to pay them, and then they'll do the filing for you. You can do it yourself. It's not really that complicated. You also want to think about UCR. So you want to complete Unified Carrier Registration. This is a powerful box truck business revenue growth hack because you are you are positioning yourself vis-a-vis those potential shippers who can pay you big money for actually hauling their loads. So if you plan to operate across state lines, for instance, you will really need to register for the OCR program. So UCR program. So UCR is a federally mandated process that requires commercial vehicles traveling interstate to be actually registered within the system. Okay, so if you are going to do OTR, think about that. So drivers that carry cargo across state lines must renew their UCR every year by December 31st. And finally, you want to really obtain a CDL. If you want to boost your revenue big time, you want to have a CDL. That way, you can actually haul more loads, or you can even hire drivers too, or you can engage in more contracts. If you're thinking about the best box truck business revenue growth hacks this year, if you want to really boost your revenue big time, think about getting trucking insurance. Insurance is kind of quintessential. Now you might be thinking, well, how can I grow revenue by actually engaging in a cost? Well, the thing is, insurance is not really a cost. Insurance is actually an enabler of revenue, because insurance, if something were to happen, basically, if your ass is not covered, you'll be paying way more. So insurance is not, it's not like you actually paying somebody. It's not a regular cost. It's part of actually conducting business. If you want to really have a sustainable box truck business, you want to really have insurance. Okay, and so there are a few things to consider when choosing trucking insurance, including the type and amount of coverage that you need, in addition to collision insurance. And those amounts are different. And again, everything depends on the sector you're in, the kind of loads you're hauling, and or the shipper you are going to contract with. For example, Amazon will have a different insurance requirements than UPS, than USPS or FedEx. If you're thinking about buying a FedEx route and actually doing business with FedEx, the requirements are different. Or if you are going to contract with third-party shippers, if you're going to a contract with third-party freight brokers, if you are going to a contract with, let's say, dispatchers, then the requirements are totally different. Okay, and liability insurance will cover. You need liability insurance, by the way. That's important. So liability insurance will cover damage caused by your trucks to other property, while collision insurance covers damage to your own box trucks. And so that's important. So liability insurance, collision insurance, but you also might want to consider insurance that includes medical coverage in case of an accident resulting in a driver injury. So for box truck owner operators that use reefers, selecting insurance that covers, let's say, equipment repair is also something to consider, especially in the long run. So comparing coverage and rates of different insurance providers will help you find the best policy for your needs. If you want to actually boost your box truck business revenue this year, I want you to really organize your business expenses. So your business expenses are kind of the deciding factors when it comes to your revenue, right? Because it's one of those things where you have to really understand what your expenses are, what your top expenses are, what your revenue items are, and how they actually integrate in the long run. So when starting a box truck company, you might want to consider opening a business bank account to help with record keeping and accounting. It's also important to separate your business expenses from your personal expenses to show that your box truck company is actually a business entity. I said this before when I said you want to establish your company. So right off the bat, I want you to really segregate that thing, segregate your personal affairs from your business affairs. So you also want to decide on the right type of business account for your needs, and make sure to stay on top of annual or recurring fees, and have also all the necessary documentation needed when opening a business account, right? This will help you actually instill an extra layer of credibility into your operations. So if you want to really boost your box truck business revenue big time this year, that's important. A fuel card program, by the way, I want to speak to you about fuel card. A fuel card program is another beneficial tool that can make managing business expenses easier. So with a fuel card for truckers, you can access thousands of gas stations, truck stops, and commercial fueling sites nationwide. If you are going to scale your box truck business, you want to think about those aspects of the business. And so fuel cards actually can also provide discounts depending on the card. So cards usually offer controls to manage employee spend, along with reporting tools to track fueling activity, which is especially important for those in the trucking business, the trucking industry, when gallons and usage need to be reported to various government agencies. So this is something to really think about, especially in the long run. See, everything I'm telling you here, it's not just about the a box truck box truck business revenue growth hack in the short run, but really in the long run too. If you want to really grow your box truck business revenue big time this year, you got to really go back to box truck business 101. You want to look at the model, look at the equipment, look at the vehicle, look at what you have, the foundation, look at the infrastructure within which you evolve, right? It's one of those things where the foundation must be strong. If the foundation is weak, if the foundation is feeble, you can't really grow your box truck business revenue this year. So buying the right equipment is kind of quintessential when it comes to making sure that you are solidifying your cash inflows and actually monitoring your cash outflows in a proper manner. So depending on what kind of services you will plan to offer, you will need to determine the right size of truck, large enough for the cargo you plan to carry, right? It's all about what? Adapting your equipment to the kind of loads you want to haul. Are you going to do a perishable? Are you going to do hazmat? Are you going to do a reefer? Are you going to do long haul deliveries? Are you going to do last mile? Are you going to do first mile? Are you going to do middle mile? Are you going to do OTR? So all of those sort of niches require a specific type of equipment. So consider whether you will also need a reefer unit if cargo needs to be kept refrigerated, for instance. If you have a smaller budget for your business, basically, then you might want to consider buying a used truck, which can cost between 10 grand to 20 grand in some parts of the country, right? So it's always about starting little, and then scaling from there. Now, the alternative is actually buying a new truck. Now, while more costly, there might be fewer maintenance issues than with a used truck, which is an important factor to consider before making a purchase of your box truck. And the cool thing is, if you actually have great customer service, if you have great not customer service, but if you have a great credit, if your credit score is kind of cool, you can actually get a loan from a bank or credit union, or even an alternative lender to actually finance your operations. At least at the beginning, right? That's what you want to have at the very beginning. You want to have this idea of things. If you think about the best box truck business revenue growth hacks, I want you to really understand that you have to build a customer base this year. But building a customer base is not just you going on load boards, because see, a lot of box truck business owners, they just go on load boards and they just have their app, their delivery apps, and see they're really chasing gigs. No, you got to have something more strategic. You got to have something more operationally sound, operationally viable. You have to have a long-term strategy. And a long-term strategy means that you have to build a customer base. You have to really understand who your customers are, right? Everything starts with you knowing your customers. I'm speaking here about the demographics you want to go after, the geography you want to go after, but also the chronology, the timing of the needs of your customers. When do they need their shipments? Is business booming around Christmas? Is business booming around the summer? So those are elements to really help you understand what really will work with you. So when I speak about building a customer base, I'm speaking about you, not only the direct shipper, so the customer that's really asking you to ship products through your box truck business, but also the ancillary stakeholders that you have to pay attention to. So building a customer base means what? You have to know the shippers, you have to know the freight dispatchers, you have to know the freight brokers, you have to know load boards, load board providers, all that kind of stuff. Fuel card providers also may play an important role in terms of helping you with a customer base. And when it comes to building a customer base, it's all about also like this goes back to what I said about building a website, having an ability to actually coalesce your potential customers. You have to be like, you can reach out to local customers, local business owners. You can also think about social media, or you can actually integrate. You can join those box truck forums on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest. Like it really is one of those things where you have to see where your potential customers can be. Okay, and one thing I want to say also is that when you think about building a customer base, think about the pain points of your customers. What are their needs? What do they need? Okay, and how can you help them solve their pain points? Let me give you a few pro tips here. When you think about box truck business revenue growth, there are a few things you need to really think about. You want to quickly file for your MC number, US dot number, and BOC3, because otherwise you'll be wasting a lot of time. You also want to automatically submit your federal and state permit. You want to focus also on transporting freight and growing your box truck business in a very strategic manner. So when I speak about actually quickly filing for your MC number, US dot number, and BOC3, I'm speaking here about the scalability, but most importantly, I'm speaking about the efficiency. Now you can do it yourself, or you can go through a third party to kind of help you actually file things with the federal government. Okay, you can actually go through a load board also, a load board provider to actually find someone to kind of help you out. And it's all about being really fast and efficient. So this is fine. You can also automatically submit your federal and state permits. So for any box truck operation, including box truck companies, there's a lot of red tape around working legally. So with different state and federal permits that need to be renewed regularly, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. But you want to really maybe outsource that part of things to a third party, so that you can just operate legally. You can just focus on doing your thing, and somebody in the background will take care of things like IFTA, RRP, UCR forms. Okay, and that will help you actually focus on running a business. Also, you can focus on transporting freight and growing your box truck business. Okay, so when you are hard at work building a box trucking business, the last thing you want to worry about is filing paperwork, right? So that's why I was just telling you before. You can partner with a dispatcher, for instance, to take care of the back office stuff of things, and you can just focus on like the front office, getting those shippers, getting those clients, and like having forging a deep conversation. A deep relationship with those clients, and actually growing your business in the long run. So here's the epilogue I want you to really pay attention to. So when you think about box truck business revenue growth, I'll share with you the growth hacks. I'll give you the pro tips and the epilogue. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.